At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Don't Mom Alone podcast. I'm your host, Heather McFadden, and this is the place where I get to walk alongside you and connect you with people and resources so you know that you don't mom alone. And in this episode, number 523, we are helping the moms of high schoolers not mom alone. I've invited my friends Lee Cordon and Barrett Ball to the show.
I struggled as a mom. You can really fall into the game early on and fall into the rat race. And I didn't want to fall into the rat race in 9th grade of like, our whole mission is to get into a good college, because I just don't, personally, I think that it can backfire, right? The pressure we know can get to a lot of teens, the stress, the temptations to do things like cheating or whatever, because if we're putting so much pressure on them. So I've always struggled with the balance of pushing my children, encouraging them to do their best and use their gifts, but also not fall into our whole, and this is something we've really had to deal with senior year, I don't know if y'all have, is just making sure that their identity is not into the school that they get into, or not into the percent rank that they are, or the awards that they get, or the honor, whatever it is, because that is all they're hearing.
Lee is the founder creator of an amazing website called Do, Say, Give. And she's joined me on the show in the past to talk about etiquette with our boys and our girls. And today, she and our mutual friend, Barrett Ball, are going to talk about senior year. And it may seem like odd timing, given the fact that most seniors are graduating right now. Well, believe it or not, senior year starts spring of junior year. I know, womp womp. Well, we're hoping that this conversation will just prep you and help you and enjoy and be more intentional with your child's senior year. And even if you have a middle schooler, high schooler, you are going to learn a thing or two about what's coming up, and even things down to like, what are some gift ideas? What's some etiquette around graduation announcements? How do we stay grounded and calm while our kids are feeling all the pressure about the next stage in their life? And stick around, because I have a discount code just for our listeners to get 20% off of Lee and Barrett's Mom's Companion Guide to Senior Year membership. All right, let's get right to it. Here we go. Okay, y'all, you're in for a huge treat. I am live in my office with actual people sitting next to me, and they're actual good friends, which is that's so fun. And I'm going to introduce them. And basically, our conversation is about surviving senior year of high school. I had a senior last year. He's just wrapping up his freshman year of college. I'm headed into, which believe it or not, y'all, senior year starts spring of junior year, I feel like, in that summer. So here I am doing it again. And one of our guests here is Lee Cordon. And tell us, Lee, where are you in the process of senior stuff?
Yes, thank you, Heather, for having us. So I have a current senior who is about to graduate. And senior year, as we have learned, is a huge year, because they are doing so many things to get ready for their next stage of life. They're enjoying their senior year. Moms and families are super busy, but you're also trying to prep them for more independence and being on their own and whatever their next step holds. So it's a lot to manage. And I feel like I've learned a lot from my friend Barrett here, but it's been a great year.
I mean, you're about there.
Yeah, I'm about there.
When is graduation?
Graduation is in a couple of weeks. I find myself crying at random times. I was at a concert last night for another daughter, and I was crying at a random senior. I don't even know who was singing in the concert, because I was watching her grandparents and parents tear up watching her. It's just a lot of emotions, and pulling together the baby photos and the kindergarten photos. Of course, the memories flood back. And so it's a sweet year where you remember all these great moments in your family and in their lives. And then you also just thank God for just the wonderful gift of being here and his provision. And especially at this end of it, the beginning of the senior year, nobody knows what the year is going to hold, where they're going to end up, what their next step is going to be. And at this point, it's like, oh yes, we can trust him. We know it's all going to work out. And hopefully they're seeing that as well.
Yeah, yesterday was the National School Decision Day,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
May
yes.
1st. And there's this big relief sigh, right? Because you don't know at the beginning of the year and so much is decided. And I feel like it's the super course in discernment, but we all went to a middle school that ended and you had to pick a high school.
Yes.
So a little bit of discernment had to happen there. I thought maybe a lot. So, okay, Barrett is another mom that's here, Barrett Ball.
Yay. I'm Barrett Ball. I have a current senior who'll graduate in 2 weeks. Y'all, one more week of class and we're done. And then I have a current sophomore at in college. And that's been a lot of fun too. And this all came about when I sat down at my older daughter's graduation and my husband is weeping beside me the entire graduation. And he leans over halfway through and he's like, "What's wrong with you? Aren't you sad?" And I thought, no, I'm not sad at all. I'm so ready for this year to be over with. It's been chaotic. It's been hard. It's been long. It's been exhausting. I'm done. I'm not remotely sad that we are done with this process. And I didn't want it to happen with my second child. I really wanted the year to be sweet and intentional. And I really wanted to join him in that grief that it's all over on graduation night. And I think I'm going to be there, y'all. I kind of,
you're getting the feels.
I'm getting there. This season has been completely different because I remapped how I thought about senior year. And with Lee's help, we were able to put together a really organized system to make it smooth and intentional. And it's been sweet, much sweeter than my first go round. I'm really sorry to my oldest born child. I apologize profusely.
They're the guinea pig kids, right?
They are.
We were all talking about, not only is it different between your first, your second, your third, or fourth, but also different schools have different traditions. Some schools, it is over the top. Every little thing is celebrated. I remember my son was so done with graduation parties by the time that even
I think they call it tea fatigue or party fatigue.
Party fatigue.
Party fatigue.
My mother-in-law wanted to throw like a family one. And I said, I'm so sorry. One, he doesn't have any more weekends available. And two, he's just kind of done. He feels very celebrated. But every child's different than a boy graduating versus a girl, especially if you're going to school with Greek life, that adds a whole nother layer. And y'all kind of probably tried in this guide to give general recommendations because Kansas is going to be different than Dallas, I'm guessing.
Probably.
Even in Dallas, my friends that are in some pretty chill schools comparatively to the private chaos.
Yeah, it is. It's all very different. But what we've kind of determined is that senior year across the board, regardless of where you go to school, regardless of what city you live in, there are some very basic logistical and family and familial and logistical and heart issues as well that every single senior is it's going to occur to them. And the families are going to want to kind of handle it similarly, regardless of where you're going to school. And where you're in high school currently and where you're going to go to college. There's some things that don't change city to city or high school to high school within your city. So that's kind of bonding us all together this year.
So we're going to talk through some of those and then y'all stick around too, because there are things you can be doing this summer, whether you're heading into senior year or you're wrapping up senior year. At summer, a lot happens.
Yes.
I mean, I was in a Walmart shopping in the closet organization section when a song came on the radio and I started crying. You just don't know where it's going to hit you. Okay. So what are some of these things that y'all have found are consistent across the board?
Yeah. Things that you can be doing this summer.
Or even just like your general, and then we can get into summer later.
Yeah. Well, I think there are conversations that every family needs to have heading into senior year. If you're in senior year, whether it might be a financial thing, because I think a lot of families don't realize that the senior year expenses can really add up, and you don't want to be surprised by that. So that's
well, and they trickle.
I mean, you're just like you're Venmoing left and right. You're paying the school this, you're doing this, and it's just registered college transcripts, test scores, application fees, plus all the school senior fees. I mean, it just adds up. And so, if you have these conversations, it might be about, okay, let's talk about this summer job you're having. We might need, if you're going to want a new outfit for every party, and there some schools, like you mentioned, might have a lot of traditions and parties. Maybe you need to budget for that and save some money for that. Or you want to go on that fabulous spring break trip. Let's talk about that, because if you wait until in the moment, obviously causes more tension. It can cause, some more issues, and
you'll say yes, and
you'll say yes,
and it's not the best
not the
financial.
right thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, as far as thinking about as they are thinking about their college list, where they're applying, to think about finances. We were talking in the car about several families that we know whose children got into these fabulous private schools, and they decided, we really can't afford to send you there, and we don't want you taking out these amount of loans. And how if they had that, it was just devastating for this one senior who was dream school. And so to have that conversation this summer, like, well, okay, what schools are you going? Can we apply to, or can you apply to? And if you get into the school, what are the expectations? And so they can wrap their brains around what to expect senior year.
And if y'all haven't done any research on colleges, let me just tell you, they can get real, real, real expensive. And we're talking like 80 to 90,000 a year.
1 year.
1 year.
One year.
1 year. And that's not even including all the things. So
yeah,
it gets very expensive.
It does.
And I didn't even think to research, do they live on campus the whole time? At Tennessee, they only do freshman year. And so you get an apartment, and the apartments are so, so expensive. So, I mean, just things you don't think to ask. That's great. Have financial conversations. And I think as parents, we don't want our kids to feel like, I know my kids have been like, are we poor? I'm like, well, we don't own a lake house. Okay. We haven't taken you to our fake ranch, or we don't have those things. We're doing great, but I think we're also being,
children. We have 3 more children.
We have 4 children. Yes. We have private. I mean, we're doing fine, but we have to be wise and steward our money well. And I just saw a clip. Who's that guy? Do you know what I'm talking about? I shouldn't even bring this up.
One of the kind of,
he gives advice to college.
He's fantastic. I reposted him.
I interviewed his wife. I didn't even know they were married, but she went to the same speech program I went to at Northwestern, and I was talking to her about speech language development. And anyway, he just was talking about that exact thing. Like, he would say, go to the cheaper school, unless there's some only at this program at this place.
Especially if you're thinking about grad school someday. And these are good conversations to have. In addition to financial, Barrett, you might want to talk about just the family expectations. And do you want to talk about that?
We talked about how senior year really starts in the spring of your junior year. We all know this.
We don't always all know it.
We don't always know it.
If it's your first.
That's right. If it's your first child, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Senior year starts after spring break of your junior year.
And in what ways?
Good luck.
No.
Welcome to it. You are a senior when you come back from your spring break trip, your junior year.
Yeah.
It does happen really fast and really quickly. But some of the ways I think that you can really shore up your family and set the tone for senior year, that spring of your junior year, I think you can kind of decide what you want senior year to look like. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to be the manager of your calendar. Don't want your calendar to manage you. I think you can take that same principle and make it work for the entirety of your senior year. So what do you want your family life to look like? Like, your kid's going to be busy. Do you want to carve out dinners? Do you want to carve out time with younger siblings? Do you want to carve out time alone with your kid? What do you want it to look like? And set the tone for it. Kind of set those expectations before the summer even starts. The financial conversations are going to be huge, but this spiritual and the familial, those are also huge.
Well, and I can imagine, like, Lee, what that looks like for you versus Barrett. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know for me, the greatest grief of your first going off is the change to the entire family. Yes. Like, it took me 2 months in of the fall to be like, okay, can I cook dinner? There's only 5 of us now.
Only 5.
Oh my God.
I think we should just eat out, because I don't need to cook. There's only 5 of us.
Missing
or I kept bringing the extra plate. I'm like, and he had been busy.
Yes.
I mean, he did musicals. It wasn't like he was always home for every dinner, but there's something so dramatically shifting when your oldest goes, when you have a big family.
Yes.
Then when it's your last, you're like, well, it's us hanging out again.
I mean,
you're kind of like,
bless the air fryer that cooks for a few people. I mean,
the air fryer for real.
We did go away from sitting at our kitchen table, and we moved to sitting at the island because that felt better for the three of us because we really were missing that empty seat. So it became easier.
Oh, I mean, there was a night
island. We made a drastic change just with the few of us.
That's smart because Knox was commenting. He said, "Oh my goodness, I just had a mental flip forward where I'm picturing me sitting at this table with just mom and dad by myself." And I was like, "Oh, that's so too sad." I know.
And I think that something that can happen with senior year to their detriment is it can become all about the senior.
Right.
And I think that to kind of get ahead of that this summer before, and as Barrett said, talk about expectations. Of course, there's going to be so many things that are pulling them away from your family, and you have to have grace and understanding for those things. But also, we're going to keep doing this Sunday night family supper that we do.
Sunday night is a great night.
Sunday night's a good night.
In
or
high
Sunday
school.
brunch or after church.
Yeah.
But just to protect those as much as possible. And I was the second child. I remember the grief I felt from when my older sister went to college. And this is my oldest, was a senior. And so I am kind of putting in her ear, I know that you want to be with your friends and I want you to, and you want to do all the things, but you're, kind of remind them how important their relationships with their siblings that are going to last forever, hopefully, their lifetime. And so when you have, I hate the word intentional sometimes because it just feels so loaded, but when you have some time before you get into the senior rush, think about, okay, so one example, my husband has made it a point every Friday, she has off-campus lunch. They go to lunch. I mean, it's very quick. They only have 50 minutes, but that is
15.
50. Sorry, 50.
Oh, I was like,
but by the time she gets there, and it's probably 30.
Yeah.
But that's just 30 minutes a week, just the two of them, where he can spend time with her. Maybe he needs to cover something with her, whatever. And then for me, the biggest, we laughed at the beginning of the year because this is the first year I have 4 as well. As you know, my youngest, this is the first time she's ever been in school all day, every day. Okay. She's in first grade. And so I was finally looking forward to just having the house to myself, right?
Till noon.
Right. And,
Monday, Wednesday.
No, she, and so my senior, she's in school all day.
Oh, okay. Good.
But my senior, the first day of school, she's like, okay, I'll be home at lunch, have off campus. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have the house to myself all day, every day. But it was such a gift because it was like, wow, she comes home she goes to with her friends sometimes, but she wants me to make her lunch. And it's been such a gift to have these little moments. And so sometimes I'll say no to something because I know she's coming home for lunch, and that's going to go away next year.
Yeah.
And so just to think about, and I had my sister last year, once a month, she has 3 boys. And I know it's sometimes hard to find things with boys to connect with their friends, but she had an off-campus lunch every month at her house, and she would feed them all these boys.
Food.
And think of, okay, if you want to do something like that, then plan ahead, right? Plan ahead what traditions you might want to do or what special things. How can you encourage family time? And then you can actually do it versus thinking, oh, it's December and it's already halfway over and I really didn't get to do these things I wanted to do.
That's really good. With my oldest coming back from college, we've been doing a lot of spring cleaning around our house, and pretty much every drawer and closet has been cleaned out. But one drawer that still needs a little bit of my attention, and maybe you guys can relate, is my bra and underwear drawer. Ladies, we are not taking care of ourselves in this department. And I want to help you out because today's sponsor, Honey Love, has completely transformed the bra game. They have gotten rid of the uncomfortable underwire, the bulky construction. They have created a designed bra that is supportive without the underwire, with the lift that you want, and the fabric is so soft and breezy, perfect for these warm days, let's just say boiling hot days in Texas. And I'm telling you, it's so comfortable. I love their crossover bra. It has become my go-to because it provides that support I was talking about, and it's also really pretty. So if I have a top that needs like a little cami underneath, I can just be wearing that and not have to have multiple layers. Also, they have a V-neck bra for a smooth fit. They have a new Cloud Embrace bra, which sold out in days, which is perfect for under a t-shirt. And believe me, this style is bound to sell out again. So don't wait to try it. Honey Love isn't just about bras. They also have amazing shapewear, tanks, leggings, just as comfortable, just as supportive, and their Super Power Short is a must-have. It has got amazing technology. If you are looking for great shapewear, definitely check that out. So treat yourself to the most comfortable and innovative bras on earth. Save 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/DMA. Our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/DMA. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Experience the new standard in bras with Honey Love. Okay, what else we got? We've got talk about finances. Think about how you want the family time to go and look like.
I mean, of course, just the practical things I'll go over real quick. You want to make sure they're thinking about college lists you want to think about this summer and research where are they applying. Barrett told me this, make sure that they do that Common App essay if they can this summer, because the school year gets so busy, and that's just more time, more stress on them, more stress on the family if they're stressed about getting the college stuff done. So as much as they can get finished this summer, encourage them to do that.
Well, and both high schools that we've been a part of so far have offered like a 1 week where you can come in and work on it. And so, I think that's such a gift. And doing that, like totally having that done was such a gift. I felt like we were totally done by the time senior year started.
If there's one thing I can say to moms, it would be do that. Do what you just said. Like have them finish as much as they can on their college application so that they and you can enjoy their fall a little bit more.
Yes. So before they leave for school, the summer juniors
before the
junior starts summer vacation. They're going to want to make sure they've gotten their college reference letters from the teachers that they've asked them. They want to ask their teachers to write the recommendations. And they want to also probably write a thank you note and drop it on their desk before they leave for summer vacation. I'm
going to write the note. I'm not going to write his note. I'm writing a note to write the note.
To have your child write a note and have that piece done. And then go ahead and log on to the Common App. Log in, set up as much of it as you possibly can. Go ahead and get that the profile piece. Right. You can't really start it, I think, until August 1st, but you can log in and you can get the profile situated, and you can start planning it. Common App, I think it asks you to list 10 activities.
You can do this freshman year.
Honors.
I wish someone had told me this. Once I saw that Common App, I'm like, I would have done the whole high school experience differently if I would have known it comes down to 10 activities. And how have you progressed within that activity? Versus like rando service here and rando service there.
They want 10. It blew
in your
me
whole
away.
4 years.
Yes, in all of your 4 years. That's kind of what it boils down to. So you can plan those things and what you're gonna write and be prepared when it launches. Because it launches right about the exact same time as cross country and football and volleyball. If you do a fall sport, it's going to eat your lunch trying to do all of these things at one time. So it's really going to benefit you and your child if they've got all of these things kind of narrowed down so that they can just hit go when the time is right.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
And
I'm like things you can start. I mean, you young mamas, go ahead and do it.
I wish.
Freshman year, log in.
No. Don't even go into Common App. Create a Google Doc.
Ooh, I love that.
Start writing whenever there's an activity and you need to write how many hours per week they're involved in it. Yeah. That's what they want to know.
That's one thing I did is I had just in my notes app in my phone because you don't remember, what honors did you get 9th grade year or something random award. And so I just kept a notes app or a Google Doc. And anytime they got some random award or random honor or something, or they did something kind of cool, put it in that document so they won't forget it. You won't forget it.
Well, and it's like with my current freshman, I said, okay, FYI, your Common App right now would say 0 activities. You went to school. The end. You tried out for basketball. Right. You can't put that. Played video games. No. Had a girlfriend. Not going to count. None of that's going to count. You got to have an actual.
You do.
And I would advise like don't do the one-off service. Like decide what service
in a
and
service
invest.
opportunity.
Passion that you're really interested in, something that you're really interested in, or tells a story,
And it matches
a
with
true
what you want to
story, not
major
just
in.
a made up thing, right? That match if ideally, and I will say I've struggled as a mom, and I don't know if you did, Heather, or y'all, but just you can really fall into the game early on and fall into the rat race. And I didn't want to fall into the rat race in ninth grade of like, our whole mission is to get into a good college, because I just don't, personally, I think that it can backfire, right? The pressure we know can get to a lot of teens, the stress, the temptations to do things like cheating or whatever, because if we're putting so much pressure on them. So I've always struggled with the balance of pushing my children, encouraging them to do their best and use their gifts, but also not fall into our whole, and this is something we've really had to deal with senior year. I don't know if y'all have, is just making sure that their identity is not into the school that they get into, or not into the percent rank that they are, or the awards that they get, or the honor, whatever it is, because that is all they're hearing. They are, I mean, when I was in high school, I didn't share my grades. We didn't talk about all the things. And I think we know that social media can cause so much angst in these teens, but that's one way specifically senior year, we're struggling as moms, and as believers, is like, how can we guide our children to do their absolute best and shoot for the stars, but also know that in the end, like, your identity is not what your, school, it's in your Instagram bio, and that's very hard.
And it's like getting the long-term perspective.
Yes.
I would always tell parents, I'm like, hey, guess what? I went to Taylor University in Indiana, and I'm in the same room with you right now. Like, I made it somehow. I found my way out.
Yeah, you still got a seat at the table.
I got a seat at the table. And Bruce also went to Taylor University, and he went and got his master's at SMU, and I went and got my master's at Northwestern. The story is not over.
No.
And with college. And even if you pick, quote unquote, the wrong college, there's plenty of kids who transfer.
Oh, and Barrett gave me the best advice early on senior year. And she said, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And so if they don't get into the school they thought they really wanted to go to, it doesn't mean they can't try again.
Yeah.
It's not the
How many people do you meet?
Yes.
I meet so many people. They're like, well, I started out here, but then I transferred here.
Yes.
And that's where they met their spouse. I mean, it does feel like a big decision as far as your ripple effects of lifetime friends, where you're going to settle long-term, job, marriage, like a lot of that. That's why I think we feel so much pressure, and we think, okay, successful college equals successful life. And I don't know that that's
true.
Ever been true.
And what it does to you to get there, if it's, whatever.
If you're mental, I'm started health, using brain health. If your brain health suffers, then yeah.
And I think as moms and as parents, such a role that we can play senior year, because Barrett and I don't believe you need to be doing everything for your children. It's more coming alongside them, encouraging them, but they are getting all these messages from their friends, from social media, from whatever algorithm they've put themselves on, looking up college information, is that we can to constantly trickle in, like, it's going to work out. God has a plan. Like, you can trust that, because they're hearing a lot of other, like, it's all on me. It's all on me to figure things out and to figure out what my life's work is going to be, and to get into college. And that is a lot of pressure.
Well, and talk through even the pressure. I mean, we all experienced this when our kids were picking their high school, the pressure of like, well, I want to go where friends are going. Well, so-and-so's, I remember going to our school that our kids were at and speaking to the 8th grade girls, my book, Right Where You Belong, though, like finding your space. Like, let's look at what are your interests? What are your experiences? For you specifically, God has a space for you. And in none of those boundary lines include where all your friends are going.
Right, yes.
Yeah, we really I mean, we want to encourage our kids to really consider what God has for them. And that kind of means they might need to be still and listen. And seek counsel from people who know them very well, and pray with and for one another. I mean, it's been a real treat to watch my current senior walk this road with her Bible study that they've been together since probably 8th grade, 7th grade. It's been really sweet to watch all of these girls pray with and for one another, and to speak truth into people. When a child is really excited about going across the country to college, the kids might say, well, we love that you want to do that, but remember, you are really a homebody. Like, consider these things. They're able to speak truth into one another. And it's important for our kids to really listen, to to each other and to those that love them, who want the best for them, and to seek counsel. And it's also been sweet for them to, in the waiting, we've talked about the waiting is so hard. And
especially some of those like Ivy League level type schools,
Ivy
you
Day
wait the longest.
What, the 1st of April? I mean, it's so long, but there's beauty in the waiting. And this might be some of our kids' first experiences with waiting, but for them to really encourage and love and support and be happy for their friends who go for like rolling admission school, who might know something in early September.
Yes,
and they're done and they're celebrating and they've got a roommate before Halloween. And
oh my gosh,
they're rolling with it. But for our kids to really earnestly look deep inside them and be able to celebrate their friends is really, really kind of fun.
It is. It is really hard when everybody knows. Like I remember Quaid saying that it was hard to continually get the question, where are you going to college? What do you guys think if someone's a friend of someone who's a senior? What's a better question? Because not everyone goes to college. And so like I've heard to ask, what are your plans? But do we even need to ask? Or, I mean, I know it comes from.
I know. What do you think?
I think what are your plans is much better than where are you going to college, because so many more are taking a gap year or working or just studying abroad. But I think especially when it's in that season of their, like it's coming up, the decisions are coming up. So just maybe not, if you know they're waiting, like don't ask and let them tell you because they may not have, if you know they found out and they haven't
said anything,
offer that information that they got into their dream school, then just maybe don't ask in the moment. But a few just kind of heads up to moms is that your senior's year will look a lot different, as Barrett said, if they're doing a rolling admission state school where they might find out in September, October, or if they're doing the harder schools. And I think we pray for our children to have faith and to grow in their faith, but we know that faith grows in the hard things and the waiting. And this may not look hard to us from our perspective, but for a lot of them, this might be the first kind of hard thing that they go through, this period of waiting, as Barrett said. And so just to sit in that with them and go back to God's word, encourage them, like he is going to be, a lamp into your path and a light into your feet. Or maybe I've gotten that backwards, but, like just to pour in those scriptures that they've been memorizing since they were babies and I'm going back to those, right?
Yeah. And it's not really to diminish it. Like you were saying, like it may not seem like it's that big a deal, but to them it is
a big deal. It's the rest of their lives. And to them, that's scary.
And if they feel like you're dismissing it or trying to be like, well, at least, that whole language, then they may not share with you. And then they're holding it in and we don't want that.
And we want to make sure that we're, again, setting the tone for senior year. If you are calm and
it's so hard.
It is so hard. It's so hard. And I have countless times called Lee on the way home and just completely freaked out in my car. But by the time I get home to my kid, we're back to, you will go somewhere next year. And
so you don't mom alone, Barrett?
I do not mom alone. I have a good friend who taught me. Who was that?
That is
who
so
said,
wise.
You should not mom alone. I don't mom alone. And this is the year to not mom alone. Because all the moms are freaking out.
You need to find safe people.
That's right.
Because some people I've found, if you're walking alongside them, they just increase your anxiety and stress. And you're like, wait, I didn't do that. I don't have matching.
I'm supposed to be doing that?
Gift bags for everybody and cute tags. Oh, shoot. And it's like, it's like keep upping the ante on senior year when maybe you personally need some more moms who de-escalate,
right?
Bring it down, who talk you off the cliff.
You want to be the one in your home to de-escalate things with your kid. When they start running high, you want to be able to really say, you know what, I know you're going to end up somewhere next year.
Speak truth. Yeah.
And in 4 or 5 years, you're going to end up in another place. And you remind the kid of their goals and what's true for them and their strengths and the truth of the matter. Like if they've applied to an Ivy, the truth is they're going to have to wait. Then you just keep reminding them of that. You know, put the date on the refrigerator and like here we chose. And
if you've chosen a diverse path from all your friends, it's gonna be hard even when I was nervous that fall would come and on social media Quaid would see all of his friends hanging because he purposely chose not to go to school where all his friends were.
Oh yes, yeah.
That he would see them all together and that he would feel FOMO. And so if you choose that different path, it's not gonna get easier in the fall either.
When they're actually going at their college. We did experience that as well. My sweet sophomore as she's trying to make all new friends in this out of state university, she was watching her in-state university friends really look like on social media that they were having the time of their lives. And it did break her heart a little bit, but she chose that path. And we had to really keep reminding her that the Lord has gone before you, and he has friends for you here, and he has a path for you. So just keep walking the narrow road that's been created just for you, and you'll find your people. And it does take a little while.
Yeah.
And what she didn't see was that those kids were probably experiencing the same thing. It just, social media is just a reel. You don't.
And maybe I've heard like by Thanksgiving, those kids that all knew each other and all went to college together may already be like in fights and like
tired of each other,
and high school 2.0. I mean, there can be benefits. I'm not saying there's one path, but nothing's ever
better. Yes.
But I think your advice, like I always told my boys, like, don't question in the dark a decision you made in the light. Like when all paths will get hard. The hard doesn't mean you made a wrong choice. So keep at it.
That's great advice. They all need to hear that. And
so good.
Another thing I would say about senior year is that this would really be to moms that are younger than and younger seasons, is that we have worked so hard to teach our children responsibility and good habits and all these things that you've talked about for years. And senior year is a time, and as I mentioned earlier, we're not doing everything for them, but it is a gift to be able to say, she was up till 2 a.m. working on this thing, and she's got cross country and she's doing this. I'm going to make her bed for her today and clean her room, because that is I know she can do that, right? I know she's got that life skill down. Yeah. And so it's kind of a joy to see like all your hard work where you can say, oh, she can do these things. She is capable. But what a gift as a mom to be able to say, you know what, I'll go pick up your alterations or whatever it is. Sometimes you feel like a little bit like a personal assistant, but it's just a season to help them, because they are so busy and they're stressed. They got a lot going on. And so as a mom, to be able to give them a gift, because that they are capable. And another mom gave me some great advice, is that we feel a lot of pressure senior year. Kristen Hatton said, I think, we got to teach them all the life skills before they leave. And of course we want to sprinkle them in. We want to teach them if they need to make an appointment for something, like let them do that. Don't do that for them, but don't stress about doing that, because the gap. So I still call my mom and ask her things like, how do I water my hydrangeas or whatever, And so I think focus on as much as you can, letting them take responsibility, but also to enjoy being able to help them this kind of one last year.
Well, and my advice, I mean, I know we talked about applying already, but some moms, I just saw a mom the other day and she was like talking about getting a driver's license. She said, well, he's going to have to research it. And I said, just so you know, I have a master's degree and I have now done it 3 times getting a permit. And it is the most complicated thing. And here's the deal. They do it one time ever. If it's a one time ever skill, and maybe there's built-in skills below it that they will reuse, like applying does have some skills you will have to apply. To me, that's a skill. That's a thing you do together. Yes. You provide the support. You don't say hands off, you're in charge. And even the college counselor at TCA, she was like, Heather, I loved how you guys did it. Like you would get information to help support Quay, because it was my first time, but you did it together. Right. So he's getting to see it. It's not like you did it for him, but you're not hands off.
Right. We kind of feel
hope you don't fail. Hope you don't forget to turn in that transcript of this random thing. And every school does it a little different.
Every school does it a little different. It's really, applying to school, sorority recruitment.
Oh gosh.
These are all.
Do you guys provide help for that, for the mom who's listening? Okay.
We do. We have we've accumulated a panel of experts on that we have access to, and
because that's become a whole thing.
We have, the panel of experts.
I'm saying recruitment.
Yes, sorority recruitment included, but we've also gotten a dorm organizer, someone who will help us save a lot of money. She had a lot of great advice on what to buy and what to skip, what to invest in.
Spend $10,000.
I'll tell you
what to not. We had
I'll tell you when I go pick them up next week, like what was never used. I should actually write all that down.
I think you should,
because for even my own.
For graduation gifts as well. What was practical? Because I love a good practical.
I loved giving the electric kettle.
Oh, that's a good one.
And a package of ramen in there.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's a really good one.
Because it was orange,
because it was orange.
The Tennessee orange. Yeah. Anyway,
That's a great
I didn't think of it until we were like halfway into all of the, and it was this frenzy of, oh, I got to get more kettles.
More gifts,
Oh,
more kettles. Yeah.
But if you could think of it ahead of time and have all of it ready and your dining room is just.
Well, that's what Barrett told me. She goes, and I'm a gift person. I love gifts.
This is your whole business.
But she said after spring break, senior year, gifts are going to start showing up on your porch.
Yeah.
And people, and it's true. The parties start, the graduation parties.
The announcements start coming.
And so, now technically you're not really supposed to send an announcement until after the event, but that's just a weird etiquette thing. But
wait.
Oh, I'm so glad to know that. Because
tell us the etiquette of announcements.
It's just like a baby announcement. You don't send it until after the event.
So technically you shouldn't be sending a graduation announcement until after they graduate.
Now, an invitation is different. If they're invited to the graduation ceremony, you send an invitation or a party. But now I know a lot of people don't follow this, so that's okay.
So we're not going to be mad at them and judge them.
No, it's okay. No. It's not, a lot of these days anything goes. I feel like with etiquette, a lot of things. But technically,
the pressure being off.
Yeah, I'm not doing
because there's so much to do before graduation.
You just set some people free.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other etiquette I need to know about announcements is: does every announcement I get require a gift?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. And the answer is it's totally discretionary. You do not have to send a gift. Now, most people traditionally will, but it's not, you can send a card. You can congratulate. It is not required.
Because hundreds.
Yeah. Well, I think
some seasons you're getting hundreds.
The problem there is that people are just sending them to their entire Christmas list. And that's not appropriate either. Like,
who should you send them to?
Yeah, you should send them to people that truly know the graduate, right? So
not us.
Family. Now, if it's your lifelong college friends that only met them when she was a baby, of course they want to know this. But if it's some random business associate that you have on your Christmas list from 10 years ago, do not send them, because they're going to feel pressure to send a gift. So I say use discretion. Do not send it to your entire address list. Send it to people that truly know or have a relationship, a connection with the graduate.
Do you send it to the other graduates of that class?
I think that depends on kind of where you live and what people do. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there.
Maybe just their close friends.
Yeah, they're close friends. Yeah. I think that's personal, but but as far as a gift, no, and you don't have to give a very expensive gift to everybody. Barrett and I talk about tiers. You're the best friends, the sweet friends, lifelong friends. They might get a more expensive gift.
Like what's more expensive?
Well, that depends on the person, but for like a lot of my daughter's friends, it's $15, $20, $25. We're buying a lot of gifts, and so we can wrap up a gift real cute, but you do not need to. And then some people will.
I thought you were going to say like 200. No, so 25 feels more reasonable.
25.
No, if you are in a position and want to give, my nephew his friend gave these really nice, very expensive speakers to a lot of the boys in his grade, which was so generous and kind. If you want to do that, that is so nice, but you don't have to do that. You can give a very thoughtful gift for $15. It's practical for their dorm room and thoughtful. So, so I think it's okay to have tiers on pricing. There's no for any kind of gift giving, there's no right amount, whether it's a wedding or whatever. That's just mine.
Okay.
And it makes sense.
Some of you all know that years ago, my dad passed away. And while I would love to make Father's Day extra special for him this year, I don't have that opportunity, but I am thrilled to get to share with you a great option to give your dad a unique, heartfelt gift that will make him feel truly loved. It's called Storyworth Memoirs. And what I love is they take the hard work out of it. And it's such a unique gift, y'all. Storyworth will email your loved one a memory-provoking question that you get to help pick. Things like, did you ever get in trouble in school? Or how did you decide how many children to have? All your loved one needs to do is respond to that email with a story, whether it's long or short. They can write it out, or they can even record it over the phone for Storyworth to transcribe. No complicated apps required. Then you will be emailed a copy of your loved one's response as they're submitted over the course of the year. And then you'll get to enjoy their retelling of stories you already know, or maybe you'll be surprised by stories you've never heard before. And after that year of fun, Storyworth is going to compile all your loved one's stories and photos into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. I so wish I could have this and share with my boys, because I know my dad left quite a legacy in them. I will tell you, it's not just me that thinks this gift is such a winner. Storyworth has preserved millions of family stories since their founding over 10 years ago. They have more than 40,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot. The Wirecutter, The Strategist, CNN, and more agree that Storyworth is the perfect gift for the people you love most. Give the dads in your life a unique, heartfelt gift you'll cherish for years. Storyworth. Right now, save $10 during their Father's Day sale when you go to storyworth.com/DMA. That's storyworth.com/DMA to save $10 on your order. This podcast is sponsored by Active Skin Repair. It's a skin health company that helps people heal with natural, non-toxic, medical-grade ingredients. I don't know if you've ever tried Active Skin Repair, but I bought some. I was influenced by someone, and I have loved it. Active Skin Repair utilizes a molecule called hypochlorous acid. When applied to the skin, this molecule works to mimic the natural immune response to cleanse, soothe irritation, reduce inflammation, and support healing. So you can use Active Skin Repair to treat a wide range of skin issues, including cuts, scrapes, burns, sunburns, diaper rashes, other types of skin damage. It also is safe and non-toxic. It's suitable for all different skin types, all parts of the body, and even on rosacea, eczema, and acne-prone skin. With over 500,000 happy customers, thousands of five-star reviews, and ingredients so safe and clean it can be used from the youngest member of the family to the oldest, now you have a simple solution for all your family's skin health needs. Visit ActiveSkinRepair.com to learn more about Active Skin Repair and to get 20% off your order if you use the code DMA. So go to ActiveSkinRepair.com and use that code DMA to get 20% off your first order. Okay, we're like getting close to wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a couple? I mean, we've talked a little bit about summer, but do you have a couple summer tips, things they could do, whether they have an incoming senior
if
or
you've
an
got
outgoing?
an incoming senior this summer, we talked about the application, we've talked about the Common App and the essay. Those, it will really behoove you to have those things written.
Behoove is such a
word. Yeah.
I love that.
$3. Cha-ching.
I love that. That's really going to help your family to have those things wrapped up. But also, go ahead and book your senior photos. Get those done this summer.
Wait, summer?
I think in the summertime.
They look so different, though.
They do. And
The
a lot
kids
of photographers will offer a when you pay their sitting fee, they'll do a kind of a decision photograph after you've made a decision. Just to maybe a 15 or
say, would you throw that in? You can negotiate.
You can negotiate.
So that to me is new since Quaid. Like my niece, who's a senior this year, she had that.
Yeah,
but Quaid, that wasn't a thing.
They do. The
That's
kids
in 1 year. This
remarkably
changes.
between.
What I'm
May
saying
and
is
May.
that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
People weren't doing decision photos
In just a year.
In a
that's
year's
changed.
time. That's
Wow.
an added on thing.
Yeah, Lee and I have laughed. By the time her first grader graduates, I can't even imagine
Like
how
the
different
decision
things
day
are going
bed?
to be.
What is
Yeah,
talking?
we
What are we?
don't-
What
I
is
don't know.
happening?
We don't do that. I think that, personally, I think that's a little over the top, but if that's what you want to do, everybody has their different gifts and things, as we talk about, that they like
I know,
to
but
celebrate.
don't feel pressure.
Do not feel pressure.
But it's the social media pressure
Again,
because
this
does
is-
my mom really love me if she didn't do it?
Thankfully, my daughter did not care about that. So, but there's other ways to make them feel special and celebrated. Some more practical tips, I would say, and this is something that Barrett told me, is that I'm on so many message boards and Facebook groups of moms right now that they're senior committed and they don't have a place to live because the housing is a nightmare. So as soon as you're senior, as you make that college list, where are you applying? Go ahead and see what their housing, because a lot of them, as soon as you put an application in, you can put a housing deposit down that is often refundable. So don't,
and sometimes not, but $150 is
worth it. Yes. My mom posted last night, I'm from California. My son's going to a SEC school. just found out he's not going to have a dorm and have to live. I've never even been to the city. And she was panicking. So that's something you can think about this summer is as you're putting those putting those colleges on a college list, what is the housing? That's something to ask on campus tours as well.
You think like having your own kind of spreadsheet outside?
Yes, we have that too. And yes, and part of our group.
It's part of the course?
Yes.
You call it a group or a course?
No, it's like a guide. It's like an online guide.
It's the Mom's Companion Guide.
Mom's Companion Guide.
And
the Don't Mom Alone Guide.
We love it. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then the other thing I would say, this is a very practical tip that we didn't do, but there are so many emails that come in from the colleges that they apply to, or that they put their name on an interest list. So maybe start an email account just for college stuff that you can both access. Just an idea.
100%.
We didn't do that, but I wish we had.
We had one. It was quadecollege@gmail.com.
Oh, that's smart. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
so smart.
Only college things. And
Yes.
It was so helpful to just keep track of who needs what when.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is something for the fall, but we did it in the summer too, but it was maybe every other week, but in the fall, every week, instead of having to harangue them all the time and what are you doing? Nag them. Did you do this? Did you that? Have a weekly check-in, Sunday night, whatever it is. And that's your time that you keep on your notes app, all the questions burning questions you want to ask them.
Yeah.
And that's when you ask them. So not every family dinner, going back to, it's not all about them all the time. That the senior college application stuff, we're mostly going to talk about at this, it may be 10 minutes, but it's just a check-in, takes the pressure off.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. What about do you have more for summer?
Well, just one more summer thing that I think it's really important for your current junior to go ahead and start doing is engage with those colleges that they're really interested in attending. They can send an email to the admissions director. They can send an email to the housing director. Just showing some engagement is super important to these schools.
Well, and I found out from the University of Texas admissions person, that's why I was looking this up on my phone. She was saying you can type in the university's name and then you do a plus sign, common data set, and it will tell you whether they track interest or not.
Oh,
yeah.
Because you might think a school's tracking interest and they're not. It's not a value.
And on that note, I will say that some of the moms in our group is that a lot of students will show a lot of quote demonstrated interest to their dream schools, but neglect their quote unquote safety schools. But this was kind of a brutal year admissions wise because it was such a big class nationwide. And so seniors that thought that their safety school was a sure bet, they may have gotten waitlisted or deferred, or and they were shocked because they were completely qualified to get in, but they didn't show any interest. They didn't make any interest, go to the campus visit or go to the college fair when that college was in town at their high school. And so your senior may be missing out on that may be a great school for them. They may get an amazing scholarship or an opportunity, an honors college opportunity. And so if you are show interest at all the schools on your list, if you can, especially if they track that demonstrated interest.
That's good.
And the one thing that I think, I mean, to be calm and collected and to be setting the tone for your family of peace next year, I think it's going to take a little organization. That's always helped me. I've always felt more calm when I was organized.
When your hair wasn't on fire.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
wait.
Now, before your hair catches fire, now would be a good time to go ahead and get your senior year calendared. Put it in the calendar.
I'm getting nervous already.
Block off those things that you need to block off. Like, decide what's going to be important to you. If Sunday night dinner is going to be important, block it off. Yeah. Put it on the calendar.
And we do
put
digital,
it on the kids' calendar.
We do digital calendar invites.
Yeah,
to our kids.
So
I think that's so important to plan on it being important, and you decide to manage your own calendar before the calendar starts to manage you, and it kind of starts now before it gets crazy.
What about summer tips for the people who are about to launch? Oh my gosh,
that's hard. I mean,
it's a hard. I feel like it's a hard summer because for boys, they like to spoil the nest before they leave it.
They do.
I don't
girls
know if
do that too.
Okay,
yes, that's a girl thing.
So
as
it's
well.
this tricky, like you're so sad that they're leaving, but then by the end you're like, okay, bye bye,
that was fun.
See you later, because you're doing so much for them, and
it's hard,
and they're overwhelmed,
they're taking it out on
and they want to spend every waking moment with their friends, like they may never see them again as long as they live.
Well, and
that's
they won't
so
in the same way.
They won't. It will be.
It's going to be different.
They're grieving. They're grieving the end of their high school, and you're grieving them leaving, and it's
I do
hard
think
to get on the same page.
As a help to people, like they do come around, and I think that when they come back for those breaks of freshman year, they do want to spend time with you.
Mhm.
I mean, they want to see friends,
do.
but maybe freshman year, but like keep going forward. Your relationship with your child isn't over.
Right.
No, it changes.
You're a senior. It's an end of an era, but
Right.
it's not the end of your relationship with your child.
Yeah. So this summer, practically, I would clear out your dining room and prepare it for all of the
dorm,
the new dorm that's going to move in there until it gets moved into the dorm. But also create a Google spreadsheet that you can share with your child, their roommate, and the roommate's parent to talk about and just list everything for the dorm.
Do you guys
on
have
it.
that?
Who does? We do have that. Yeah, we do have that. List everything on the dorm for the dorm and kind of check it off so the roommate and her mom can see what y'all have bought, and the girls can add to it links, or the boys too. Boys might not do this, but the girls are already linking all of the things that they want to buy. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got it all like planned out. No,
That's right.
this was not the case.
Yes, the girls will do that. We're getting lots of comforter links and all sorts of things. So I think practically that was very helpful that summer
to
before.
get organized. Yeah.
But also like just really we carved out some time the summer before senior year to make sure we kind of were able to say all the last things that we wanted to say and to spend that little bit of time that before they left with your kid, because it does, the summer goes by really, really quickly. And you do want to come alongside them and not smother them that summer. I mean, they're really learning to be alone.
Yeah, and they're ready.
They are.
Ready.
By the time that summer rolls around, they're ready.
My tip,
Ready
if
to
you
go.
have a boy, is to find out if your boy wants to do Greek life, find out if that school does recruitment over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Because some schools, I think friends were surprised how often they were having to fly a kid or drive a kid to a school to attend an event so that they could get a bid before the school year even started. Thankfully, ours didn't have that. That's an added cost you would not have.
That is an added cost. And that's something that Barrett was very insightful about senior year. It's really important when they narrow down those schools to visit them and not just go on the college tour senior year, but try to find someone, even if it's a friend of a friend, to spend the night with, to stay overnight in a dorm, because it gives them a great sense of what the school's really like. But if they decide to go there to have those connections of current freshmen when they're a senior, that to have someone looking out for them, especially for Greek life, to that especially with boys, when the process for recruitment is a little nebulous, it's not as clear in all the different schools. It's really about who you know and who knows you that's looking out for you. And so the more people that you can meet, the more connections that you can make, the better for girls and boys.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the summer before freshman year, after senior year, I'd like seen this idea, but I didn't work on it until we were literally driving to the school. But I did it in the car while my husband and my son were in the front seat, like listening to music, doing their thing. But I created all these letters.
Oh, yeah.
You like open when you take your first test, open when you've had a hard day, open when you're sick. And I put like, for the sick one, I put throat coat tea in there, or like shower steamers or little random pictures. And I had lots of pictures that I printed off of like.
Sweet mama. Love it.
So I put it in like a plastic little box, one of those organizer boxes. And I think he would, and some of them I'd say, okay, when you open this, send me a screenshot and I'll Venmo you, $10 so you can go to Chipotle or something, because I had heard gift cards aren't always used on college campuses.
Yeah.
So it was a way for me to make sure he had seen it. It like reinforced that I did open your letter and, a little treat.
I bet.
Because that means money can get tight in college. And I think the best gift you can give a graduate is cash money.
They do,
especially if
that.
Their parents aren't paying for all of their extra stuff. Yeah. Well, you all are amazing. We have had a very full conversation.
It's been fun.
Do tell people about, I know we've mentioned it, the Mom's Companion Guide, but like give them more info. We'll put a link in the show notes, but tell them where to find it and all the thing.
Oh, yeah. So DoSayGive.com. And this resource Barrett came to me a year or so ago with this idea and said, there really isn't anything. There's a lot of great college counselors that help you with the admission process, but there's so many other things to do senior year. And we cover college admission stuff as well. But it's a guide that helps you every month. We send you an email telling you some things that you should be doing, your senior should be doing, so you don't drop any balls, you don't feel frazzled. And we've got a whole printable guide with checklists for the entire year for, campus tour questionnaire, roommate checklist, like questionnaire, dorm room checklist. What else do we have? Budget, like mapping out your expenses, like we talked about. There's a lot of expenses.
Yeah. There's a thank you note
and a college application tracker.
That's right. And there's a thank you note and a gift guide tracker, and then we also have a panel of experts. We talked about that a little while ago. There's we have a recruitment expert, we have a dorm organizer, we have a counselor who talks about the importance of our kids' mental health through all of this. That's important. We have a college counselor who offers some tremendous advice. And all of those interviews are accessible to the group's members.
Yes. And one of the things that I love to do with Do Say Give is, because I do not think I'm the expert on all these things, of course, because this is my first time doing senior year, but I feel it's been such a joy to take the wisdom and experience and lessons learned from seasoned moms, a lot of these experts and Barrett and other moms that we've had on, and share that with the moms that are coming up in high school and junior and senior year, because there are so many things that you just don't know unless someone tells you.
And that might be a great summer thing to do if you have a current junior, is find a mom who already has a graduate from your specific high school. And the sooner, more recent, the better. Because like we said, traditions can get added, and just say, hey, what are the things I need to make sure? I mean, like our school, the high school, they had to destroy their uniform. So I needed, once he made his decision on a college, to be collecting fabric and ribbon and, little things that you don't want to be doing last minute, and you can't last minute now that all the fabric stores are closed.
Right.
So find that mom and ask her, but get this wisdom, get this help. It's already there and done. So thankful for y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
What a
This
fun
was a
combo.
lot of fun.
So fun. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to us moms talk over each other and just brainstorm together about getting through that season of parenting. Here I go, gearing up again for it. If you're like me and you need support in this upcoming year, definitely go to DoSayGive.com and look for that Mom's Companion Guide. We also put a link in the show notes. And if you want to save money, which I'm guessing you do, use the code Heather, all caps, to get 20% off of that guide. I'm going to pray over us. Lord, in whatever stage of parenting we're in, I pray that you would help us have discernment about where to support our kids and where to help them grow on their own, where we need to let go of a society's standard, and where we need to maybe fan the flame of a gifting in our kids and help them be the person you've made them to be, and to do the things that you have placed before them to do for your kingdom and not for our own. I pray, Lord, that we would continually be bringing our pride and our desires to look good, that we would bring that to you, and we would find our centering in you, God, and not in our kids. But as we steward this portion of our parenting, that we wouldn't do it alone, that we would be supported by other moms and learn from those who've gone before, and then come to you and decide what is for us and what is not for us, whatever season we're in. I pray over the mom right now who's feeling overwhelmed in whatever area of her parenting that she's walking through right now, that overwhelm, that fear, that she could bring it to you, let you know what she is afraid of, and admit that to you, God, and then receive your peace and your comfort and just a reminder of what is true about her. And Jesus' name, amen. Thanks y'all for joining me once again. Thanks y'all for sharing. Y'all loved the episode I did with David and Sissy and have been sharing so faithfully. I really appreciate that. Your reviews, wherever you listen, whether it's Spotify or iTunes, are super, super helpful in other people finding the show. And then, when you tell a friend, that is literally how this show has grown. And so thank you for doing that. If you know a mom who has a high schooler, this would be a great time to share this episode with her. And I will meet you back here next week. We're going to talk about rest, which feels nearly impossible in the middle of May, but that's why we're going to talk about it. All right, I'll meet you back here next week. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Don't Mom Alone podcast. If you're wanting to connect with more people and more resources to help remind you that you're not alone, head over to don'tmomalone.com. That's where you'll also find show notes with any links mentioned by our guests. Most importantly, I want you to know the good news, the great news that you're not alone because God has promised to always be with you. With faith in Jesus Christ, the one who died for you and rose again, Jesus said when he left, he was going to leave a helper, a comforter, to be with us. God in us. Moms, that's superpower. So while you're washing dishes at your kitchen sink, while you're driving to and from work, while you're feeding that baby late into the night, while you're cleaning sticky floors, God promises to be just as present with you as when you're worshiping in a church pew. As it says in Zephaniah 3:17, the Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. He takes great delight in you. He will quiet you with his love, and he will rejoice over you with singing. Now that's good news. Have a great day.